Welcome to the deep dive. We're all about trying to cut through the noise, really distill complex stuff, and hopefully give you those aha moments, make you feel like you really get it. And today we're diving into something I think really practical, fascinating too. It's navigating the world of rental neighborhoods, and we're using Charlotte, North Carolina as our sort of case study. So our mission here is to explore what it really means to find hidden gems in a rental market can be pretty competitive out there. We're basing this on the idea of a source titled Charlotte Rental Neighborhoods Discover Hidden Gems. Now, this isn't just about like finding an apartment, it's more about understanding how you spot those unique opportunities. The overlooked value, the things that make a neighborhood just right for you. So, thinking about that title for you listening, what kind of specifics, what surprising facts would you actually hope to find in a guide like that? What makes something a hidden gem? That phrase itself, hidden gems, it really sparks curiosity, doesn't it?
Right.
Especially for a city like Charlotte, which is growing so fast. It just makes you think, okay, what am I missing?
Yeah, what's fascinating, I think, is that implicit promise in the title. When a resource says hidden gems, it's basically telling you we're going beyond the obvious here.
Mm,
It's not just going to list, South End or Plaza Midwood. Everyone knows those, and they often come with a hefty price tag.
right.
It's about giving you insight that helps you find maybe better value
Yeah.
or a unique character that isn't like plastered everywhere. So, for example, a real hidden gem guide might point out that, yeah, Noda is super popular, it's booming,
Mm.
but maybe there are these little pockets like on the edges, perhaps near the Optimus Park light rail station. You might find these historic mill homes there. They're smaller, sure, but the rent per square foot could be way lower than the shiny new builds on the main drag.
Ugh. Okay. That's a great example. Character, community, and relative value. That's the kind of specific insight we're talking about. And then there's the whole neighborhoods part of it. What really makes one rental neighborhood different from another? It's more than just lines on a map, right? So when you're hunting for your gem, what criteria pop up? Is it, like you said, walkability, being able to leave the car behind? Or maybe it's the opposite, finding somewhere really quiet, even if it's still close to things. Or
Oh,
maybe proximity to, I don't know, local breweries, indie bookshops, art studios, that
yeah.
specific vibe.
Exactly. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, a resource that helps you understand these kind of subtle differences between neighborhoods,
Mm,
especially the ones that aren't immediately obvious,
yeah.
that really empowers you. You can make much smarter decisions. Think about Charlotte's growth, how
Mm.
fast it's expanding. A good hidden gems guide wouldn't just say, here's a neighborhood. It might show you, for instance, that University City, which people sometimes just think of as, the college area,
Yeah.
actually has specific zones getting big public transit investments. Like maybe light rail extensions are planned or underway
Interesting.
that can signal future hidden gems, right?
Yeah.
Places where maybe the rent hasn't caught up yet with the better accessibility and amenities that are coming. Understanding those kinds of dynamics is, I think, crucial for matching your lifestyle to the right location, whether you're moving there or just, curious about how cities evolve.
Okay, that makes sense. And the title also uses the word discover, to
Mm.
actually discover these gems. Well, that sounds like it takes a bit more effort, maybe some specialized knowledge. It's not just scrolling the top few listings on Zillow or whatever. It suggests you need to dig deeper, maybe find local insights, perhaps look at things differently than the average renter. Like, what if a gem for you means finding an area that's just starting to get cool culturally? A real deep dive into Charlotte might point you towards, say, the historic West End. It might highlight, I don't know, the concentration of public art projects or maybe community gardens popping up, creating a unique feel. Even if, the big shops and restaurants haven't fully arrived yet, that's discovery.
And that brings up a really important question, doesn't it?
Hmm.
What is a gem? Is it always about being cheaper, or is it more about finding a unique culture or specific services nearby, or maybe even just the potential of an area?
Yeah, that's subjective.
Totally subjective. What one person calls a hidden gem is different for the next. Like, for some, a gem might be finding a quiet street in Dilworth, with those classic duplexes.
Yeah.
Maybe they offer more actual space for the money compared to a small unit in a brand new high-rise nearby.
Okay.
For others, maybe they're looking for those early signs in a place like Fremore West.
No,
Not
okay.
necessarily like flip properties, but just to get into a neighborhood before it totally blows up in popularity.
Right, before everyone else discovers it.
Exactly. And that's why a really well-curated guide is so valuable. It shouldn't just give you generic descriptions. It should offer specific data points, insights, things that help you define what your gem looks like.
So, thinking about this, bringing it back to you listening, How can this whole mindset, this idea of seeking out hidden gems, these undervalued, maybe overlooked, or just uniquely positioned opportunities, how can that apply elsewhere beyond just renting an apartment? Where else in life might you be overlooking something really valuable just because it's not, the obvious choice? Because it's not heavily advertised. Could be anything, right? An under the radar investment, maybe an unconventional career path that turns out amazing, or even just a less traveled vacation spot that's incredible. We've had a really interesting discussion here, I think, just exploring the idea behind discovering hidden gems in a place like Charlotte's rental market and really seeing the value of that targeted, insightful information when you're navigating any complex situation. We've seen how a proper deep dive wouldn't just skim the surface, it would uncover specific, surprising details. Like those pockets of value in Nodo, or thinking about the long-term potential near new transit hubs in University City.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah.
We live in an age where, information about the popular stuff, the mainstream options, it's everywhere. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the real challenges, but also what are the significant rewards of deliberately trying to find those truly hidden insights? The valuable stuff that isn't obvious,
Yeah.
whether it's about where to live or, I don't know, a new skill you want to learn or even a community you might want to join. What specific, maybe unconventional steps would you actually take to uncover your own hidden gems, whatever they might be? How do you avoid just following the crowd?